Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk to Rami. This is Rami, your host. I am very excited today because I am going to speak with Nathan Chan. He's the CEO and the founder of the Foundr is a magazine. Actually, the book that I have it right behind me is my favorite one, man. I read this many times. This is my Bible. And, the Foundr is an international media and educational company that produces magazine, books, and online courses for entrepreneurs. And I can tell you, Nathan, about this book, man, is amazing. This is like what you have to put together with this book, man. It's amazing. Everybody should get this and read it, because if you want to build a great business and successful business, you got to know a lot of stuff that they are all here, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. That's the key. That's the key, people. But Nathan, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Rami. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you for supporting us. And glad to hear you getting a lot of value from Foundr version 1. It's an old project, man. It was a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah, that was a long time ago, but I always go back through it and I always read it and discuss it with my teams, because as I know, and the listeners, some might know, that you build business. You build business for people, with people. And this is the interesting fact about Nathan, you guys who are out there, that he's not just working, he's building teams and he's building company with a strong foundation that understands the entrepreneurship and the horizon of entrepreneurship. But Nathan, tell me, how did you start it? How you became an entrepreneur? How did you start a Foundr? It's very fascinating journey.
Yeah. So basically, I was somebody that was doing work that wasn't meaningful. And that was my guiding principle. I think life is too short to not do work that you don't enjoy.
Amen.
And I was always really interested in entrepreneurship. And I started hearing stories. This is about 10 years ago now. I started hearing stories of friends starting these online businesses. Starting online business with no experience whatsoever, no knowledge around how to start a business, and doing really, really well. And I became really curious about that. And I started to listen to podcasts. Like I know podcasts are big now, but 10 years ago, podcasts were supposedly big. And there were entrepreneurship podcasts that I used to listen to of like everyday people like you or I starting these online internet businesses, making money online, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, creating products, creating services, and living an incredible life. And I was really curious by that. And then I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And I thought, well, why don't I interview these people and find out how the hell they are doing it? So I decided to start this magazine on the side, just for fun, literally just for fun. Didn't know it would be a business, didn't know it would be a global platform, nothing, literally just for fun. I didn't want to raise any money. I didn't even know how to raise money. I didn't even think that far ahead, Rami. Honestly, it was just for fun. And so I started this magazine just on the side. And it was a digital magazine, and it cost me $2,000 to start the magazine. And I put it on the back of my credit card. At the time, I wasn't making much money. I was making $50,000 a year at my day job. I put $2,000 on my credit card, and that was the software that allowed me to build the magazine. And then from doing that, effectively, I started interviewing people, made the first edition of the magazine. And the first day we launched, we made $5.50. And what I realized after just going through that process of interviewing people, telling their story, I was like, these interviews are so incredible. There's so much gold here. I have to share it with the world. And that's how the magazine started. And then the rest is kind of history. And then as time has gone on, we've really built a full-scale platform, audio, video, and written, on really trying to help serve entrepreneurs, to really try accelerate founders and entrepreneurs' growth and future through entrepreneurship. And that's our purpose. That's why we do what we do. And we're trying to build a global leading brand that supports and creates entrepreneurs.
Yep, I read your story and I didn't know as much as you just told me about that. But don't you agree that, as you know and I know, what makes us as a human or what makes us better is all our stories, because I'm a big believer that everyone has a story. And I'm so happy that you, in this book, you kind of extract all that stories, all that experiences that takes years for some people to actually go through it, and these people went through it, and then you extracted it and you put it all together in one source and you hand it to these people, which is including myself, because you open any chapter, you read about all the people you have interviewed, from Tim Ferriss, Richard Branson, Gary Vaynerchuk, name it, all these people. They all have different businesses, different psychology, different strategies, but at the end, don't you think it's all about their stories that makes us? What is your point of view? Because you interview all these people, what they had as a common denominator, they had a common things together that, you said, here you go. This is really entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think, look, stories are very, very powerful. I agree with you. And, really what we're trying to do with Foundr is tell people stories, tell successful entrepreneur stories, but also share their experiences. And these are hard-won experiences, right? Like, Warren Buffett talks about like one of the fastest ways, I can't remember the exact quote, but effectively one of the fastest ways to grow is learn from other people's mistakes, right? Learn from other people's experiences. And we really want to find people that have incredible experiences and share those stories of those experiences, because that's how you can grow. And that's how we can help accelerate entrepreneurs' growth and future through these stories, really, and their experiences. So the common denominator that I find, it's really tough, Rami, because I interview so many people. I was thinking about it. I probably interviewed over 100 billionaires, right? And
wow.
And there's a few key things, right? The first thing is this person, right time, right place, right? Right time, right place. Timing is key, I think. And you can get lucky too. You can get lucky, right? But you make your own luck to a certain extent. There are certain people that, like each one of these people that I interviewed, like they most likely would have been earmarked, or you could tell from an early day that they're going to do something special, most likely. Even if they had, come to starting their own business later in life, these people are kind of, they're really, I think, really good at identifying their self-awareness and identifying what their strengths are. I think one of the fastest ways to grow a business is through people, and you can't do it by yourself. So you have to have this ability to see the strengths and weaknesses in you and also others, to find and have good people around you. I think that is such a key, important skill. Like, you can start a business by yourself and you can only get it so far. But these people, by the time that I'm speaking to them, they've built companies worth hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, or generate hundreds of millions or tens of millions in annual revenue, or billions in annual revenue. They're not doing it alone. And I think that's the key thing. They either have business partners, or they have an incredible team around them, or both. And that's how they're building these things. So that self-awareness and really understanding your strengths and weaknesses, I think, is absolutely key. The other thing is, these people, I don't think they're ever giving up, right? And if they are, they're moving on to the next thing. They're not stopping. They have this relentless discipline, and they just show up every single day. But it's not enough just to show up, right? It's not enough just to show up. You need to surround yourself with great people, and you need to be curious. I think each and every one of these people, they are no smarter than you or I, Rami. They're just curious and they're open to learning. So one thing that Tony Robbins taught me, and it was so true, is the speed in which your company grows is the speed in which you as a CEO or a founder as the speed of your own personal development or your own personal growth.
Wow.
So the question you need to ask yourself is like, what am I missing? Where do I need to level up? How can I get better? What are the resources? What are the tools? Who are the people that I need to learn from to get better? And each one of these people that I interview, they have an open mindset and they are continuously learning. They are always, 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 always curious, and they have this thirst for growth and personal growth and leveling up. So those are some of the key denominators. The people that they surround themselves with, their level of self-awareness, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, their relentless discipline. They did get lucky to a certain extent, but you make your own luck. But then also this ability to continually level up and to continually skill up and invest in your own personal growth and self-development as a CEO or founder. That is absolutely critical.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All this point that you had mentioned are incredible, incredible truth. And I had a short conversation with Simon Sinek, and Simon was saying, as this is self-awareness is such an important thing, as you said. You really have to know your why. You really need to know who you are as an individual. But I don't know if you have seen it or not, but sometimes I see that entrepreneurs, they don't want to be vulnerable. Like, they don't want to ask for help. They think they can do it all by themselves. Or, as you said, they don't need help. Or if they need help, they're not going to ask. And once I asked one of the friends, I said, why you don't want to be vulnerable? And he said, because I think that's sign of the weakness. I said, no, I don't think so. Vulnerability is sign of weakness. It's sign of courage. It's sign of, like, I'm out there. I can't do it. I need help. I need to grow. And, sometimes people, they use vulnerability against you. I understand that. But the vulnerability is not the weakness. What is your take on that? Have you ever had that situation?
Yeah, it's interesting. Look, a lot of founders that I do speak to when I interview them are vulnerable. But then at the same time, you have to remember that some of these founders that I speak to, like, they're doing a press run and they've done so many interviews and, it's hard to get them to open up and be vulnerable and I do my best, but, sometimes they have scripted answers and responses, and I do our best to kind of open them up and kind of take the interview in a direction where they've probably never been asked these kinds of questions before. But look, I tend to agree with you. This idea, forget the word vulnerability, like just this idea that it's impossible to know everything, right? And if you believe that you know everything, if you believe that you've got it all worked out, if you believe that you're invincible, and we've all been there, right? We've all been there where we think we're unstoppable and nothing can stop us. That's probably where you're going to get some form of adversity and you're going to get a wake-up call. And it's happened to me many times. And I think just the ability to be humbled and the ability to just go, hey, you know what, I don't have the answers, and that's okay. And being open and honest, say, hey, that's okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, I've never done this before, but I'm going to find out who has done it. Who can I learn from? Just that openness to learning, that openness to be able to say, hey, I don't have the answers. Hey, I'm working this out. Hey, we're on a journey together. I think that it's really, really powerful.
I know you are big in building teams. I know that because you are all about your people and the team. How do you have any advice because as I said earlier, I meet a lot of entrepreneurs and startup founders. They all have one thing sometimes in common, that they have a hard time to building the right team. What are the characteristics of finding the right people and building the right team? Like, what is your definition of building that really ecosystem, really culture? I'm sure you started with the founder with a small team and everything. What is those characteristics that these founders and these startup founders, they have to really understand? If you want to go long, this is the way you got to build a team.
Yeah, so look, Rami, it's been a journey. I definitely haven't got it right straight away, and I'm feeling these days that things are in the right place, and I'm really happy with the team. but it's been a journey, man. All right, this is a big question. So, because I've been through many iterations.
This is the time for being vulnerable.
Yeah. Look, I've been through many iterations. I think, look, first and foremost, it has to come back to values. It has to come back to values first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, I think me as a founder, I love to create things. I'm a product and marketing guy, but it's taken me a long time to be comfortable having hard conversations, right? Having hard conversations.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't I had a big fear of confrontation. I'm much better now, but still an area of development for me. I struggled holding people to account in the early days, right? So
I was like that.
Yeah. So like you can start.
I couldn't say no, Nathan. I had to go actually get a coach to learn how to say no. I'm saying it publicly right now. One of my biggest, mistake was I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that. I had to really learn that. And I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So like you can be a values-led organization, but if you don't hold people to account, you don't have high standards within your organization, and there's no consequences for poor performance, and you don't feel comfortable having difficult conversations, well, you're not going to have a really strong team then, are you? Even if it is values-led, because then you're not, like, it comes back to your values. Like one of our values at Foundr is transformational, right? You're not really being transformational, and you're not really giving that feedback, right? That person isn't living by one of our values, right? Being transformational if the work isn't good or the work isn't transformational. So it was a really tricky one, but this is something that over time I've begun to really understand. And to be honest, I could have grown Foundr much faster. I believe if I knew what I knew now, Foundr would be 10 times bigger, right? And it's only these hard lessons that I've learned, like being a values-led organization and really just kind of going values first, even if it doesn't feel nice, even if it is hard to have those conversations. That's what being a leader is all about, right? Being a leader is not easy. It's a calling, and this is something that is difficult. So I think when it comes to building great teams, I think it has to start with yourself first and being able to hold people to account, to be able to set a really good standard within a business. And that's still, something that we're working towards. We keep raising the standards at Foundr, but then at the same time, we're really working hard to become a values-led organization. And it starts with the values. Another thing to think about when it comes to building great teams, unfortunately, people tell you what you want to hear. Unfortunately. People just tell you what you want to hear. And this is something that it took me a while to really understand, right? And it's because you're the boss. Like, people want to please you. People want you to think you're doing a good job. And you don't, it's kind of weird that you don't see it that way. It took a while for me to work that out, but you can't always take people on face value, unfortunately. And this is when it comes to hiring, right? And I think there was a lot of things that I used to do in the hiring process where I would, one, not hire people for the values. Two, not build this groundswell of foundations where I would actually involve other people that are the right culture fit to come in and really weigh in and say, hey, no, this person is a culture fit. So then I was bringing in all these people. And then these people would tell me a really, fantastic things that they've done at this business. But then at the end of the day, when they came into Foundr, they couldn't do it, and they couldn't do these crazy things that they did at this other business. And one thing I learned is people tell you things, and you have to take it on face value. What you need to look for is evidence, and you really need to understand the environment. So, like, Foundr is a very chaotic environment. We're moving incredibly fast. We are bootstrapped, so we haven't raised any money. So we effectively, you have to be resourceful. And what a lot of people don't tell you when they, sell themselves at a job interview is they've done all these fantastic things, or they've been part of this crazy story or growth journey at a company. But keyword being part. They're not sharing, how much money or capital that company has raised. the traction that the company already had before they got there, or the product market fit. These are things that they never talk about, right? And these are the traps you need to look for. So for me, when it comes to building great teams, one, it comes back to being extremely values-led. Two, it starts with me as a CEO being able to hold people to account and building that groundswell and that foundations of having a really solid team. And now it's with my leadership team. We have a really, really solid leadership team, and they're actually not the most experienced people, but it's the strongest leadership team I've ever had because they're values-driven and we're really living by the values. And then the next thing I'm doing is we have a leadership coach, and he's working with me and the leadership team, and we just keep building and building and building and building and building. And then the next stage for us will be really focusing on our EVP, our employee value proposition. So we start to really build up and start marketing the founder employer brand, so it becomes a place that people want to work. And then we have a very long talent wait list. So then we actually when we're hiring for a role, we can go to this talent pool and wait list of people that are wanting to join, versus having to go out, have a job ad, have to fill the role as fast as possible. You're operating from a position of strength. So the way that you build great teams, I believe, is really investing in your teams. Like, we've got a leadership coach where we're really doing everything we can to be a more values-led organization. There's still work. There's still room for improvement, but we keep doubling down on that, keep building upon it. And we look at wherever we can, how do we highlight, recognize, and reward the values of people living those values. So one thing that we do at our company is we have like this kind of nomination system, and whoever gets the most votes, eventually somebody wins a trip, like all expenses paid trip with themselves and a +1 to anywhere around the world, right? Wow. So like, we're trying to incentivize, we're trying to reward people that are living our values. So I could talk about this stuff for days, Rami, but that's a little bit about teams and how I'm looking at kind of building great teams. And it's been a learning journey, man, and we're still on that journey.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I personally have a coach too, and for a lot of leaders and the founders out there, they have to understand, as you had mentioned, we all need somebody to talk to. We all need coach. Nobody is perfect. And I'm a big believer of what you plant is what you want to harvest. Mm-hmm. And you have to put time into, as you said, developing these people. Because, as you know, skills you can teach. People, they can learn the skills. But the attitude, you have it or you don't have it. Attitude is not something that you can inject to people. Like our company values, you got to have a winning attitude. You got to be part of the team. We want you to speak up. We want you to tell me what is wrong. As a CEO, running a media like a digital company, and if I do something that you see is not right, or you think I can do better, or we can improve it as a company, you should come and tell me. But you have to create, as Simon says, you have to create that safety zone. Building that safety zone, as you said, it takes time, and it's not easy to do, because sometimes it's very frustrating. It's really very frustrating. But that's the only way that, beside the value you had mentioned, that we all need to do as a founders. And in this book that the founders, I was reading, a lot of your people you interviewed, they really, really, more than like 75, 80%, they're focusing on the team. They're all saying that because of the team, I am where I am right now. And that was a very fascinating when I was reading the book. But you interview so many people, Nathan. What is your most fascinating story of these people? Anything that comes to your mind between all these people you have interviewed? I know you interview so many people, but one that is really stuck in your mind, you said, that was interesting, Any little stories you have?
Yeah, look, the one that first comes to mind, and I've actually shared this one before, but I'll share it again, because I think it's the first one that comes to mind, is when I was interviewing Scooter Braun. So for those that are not familiar who Scooter Braun is, he was the person that manages Justin Bieber. He found Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, many other famous artists. Oh. So he has he's a very, very successful, you would say, music entrepreneur in the music industry. And he shared this incredible story around how he recently became friends with Jeff Bezos. And,
Wow.
and he asked Jeff Bezos a question. He said, "You're the most richest person in the world. What could you want from life?" And Jeff Bezos said, "I just want to evolve. I just want to evolve." Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Having all the money in the world, and
Wow.
most people, 99% of people say, "Hey, if I reach this number, then, or if I have this amount of money, I never want to work again, or I never want to, I'll be set." That's the story everybody tells themselves. Hey, when I reach this, or when I have this amount of money, then I will be set up for life. I never have to worry again. And the richest person in the world, all they want to do is evolve, right? They have all the money in the world. All they want to do is evolve and get better. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. Why you think that's the reason? Like, is it comes from what? Because it's just very rare.
Well, I think to get, it comes back to when you asked me the common denominator, right? I think to get to where he is, he's continually wanting to evolve, and that's what it's about, right? It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's literally just the spirit of entrepreneurship and enjoying the craft and building, and to build something that helps a lot of people at scale. Whether I know when it comes to Jeff Bezos, he's a bit of a controversial character, so I'm not going to say whether he's a good or bad person. I actually don't know. But when you ask me that question, where does that come from? What do you think that means? I think the interesting hidden story is you've got the richest person in the world, and all he wants to do is evolve. And this mindset is available to anybody, right? No matter where you are in life, no matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Look at the richest person in the world. You can have that same desire as that person, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, but goes back to legacy. How we're going to define legacy, because I don't know if you agree with it or not, but I think our legacy is now. What we do right now, it's not when we die and they're going to say, "Oh, he was a good guy." I think legacies is the moments that we create as a human being for others, through our connections, through giving back, through doing a good thing, through the right thing. I think our legacy is right now, because I'm a big believer, if you want to do something, do it right now, and that would be your legacy while you are alive, not when you are dead. How you define legacy? What Nathan legacy is going to be? What do you want people to say behind you? He was a connector. He was a creator. He was a.
Oh, look, he built a platform to help a lot of people at scale. I think, that's very technical, but he created something to help a lot of people, and he created something pretty special that helped a lot of people. And he was a good person while doing it, right? I think that's really, really important to me. I think, something else that somebody always left with me, which you'll find interesting, Rami, I've never spoken about this one in a while, is there's a guy, what's his name? 1 second, I'll tell you. You have to edit this.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So one thing this is another one that I'd like to share with you, an interview that I did that I haven't shared in a while. So Sheryl Sandberg, she was the COO of Facebook. I don't think she is anymore. Are you familiar with her, Sheryl Sandberg?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think she left 3-4 years, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't think she's there anymore. But her husband, Dave Goldberg, he founded SurveyMonkey. Now, her late husband, Dave Goldberg, her late husband. So in the early days, Foundr, I interviewed him, and he unfortunately passed away. unfortunately. He passed away. And he shared something with me in that interview, which I'll never forget. I said, "What's your best piece of advice that you would give to anybody?" And he said, "Be a nice guy. There's not many nice guys out there, and you'll stand out." And when I go back to, my legacy, I don't want to be remembered as a nice guy, but I just want to, be remembered as a good person that actually really cared, and actually always did the right thing. And that's something that I learned from somebody that's now passed away, which is really important to me.
Wow, that's so powerful. That's very powerful. If you really looking at it like in like a higher level, it's very powerful. Like being nice is not just saying it being nice. It's just you really got to do something good. You got to be a good human being. And unfortunately, Nathan, these days, as you know, or you see, sometimes it's not true. Like, I have been taken advantage of many times, not, things, but I always say, dear Lord, it's between them and you. I did what I had to do. I gave because I believe by giving, you create a better life for yourself and the people around you. Giving is better than receiving, If you give, you shall receive. That's what I think. But unfortunately, some people, they don't think like you and I. But we still got to do what we're gonna do. But I'm gonna shift the gear a little bit right now and get your feedback on social media marketing, because I watch your videos and my team actually they're watching it, and then we analyze it. The advice that you give about being authentic and all that stuff, the posting. Where are we going, Nathan, with all this AI, with all these buzzes and news, and it's so loud right now. Where this social media platform or marketing is going? As a person, you guys that you are producing magazine and the books and online courses, where do you see this landscape is shifting right now? Because I think we are in transition, don't you think?
Yeah, look, I think that it's interesting. Like 3, 4, 5, even 6 years ago now, in 2017, that's when really people were raving about Bitcoin, when it was the future, right? Everybody's going to use Bitcoin, right? It's going to be the currency of the future, and everybody offering Bitcoin, all this kind of stuff. People are going to start paying with Bitcoin. I think AI is growing very, very fast, and it's a very, very interesting platform, ChatGPT, that's really kind of popularized everything. And I think it's going to grow really fast, right? No doubt about it. The next big thing will be, ChatGPT plugins. And I think people are going, and that's going to be like the new app store. I'm pretty confident of that, right? And no doubt about it, there's going to be new tools that are being built in this era that are going to really help people do more work faster. And I don't think the worry, for me anyways, with the work that we do at Foundr around, AI and the stuff that is created, everything will be created by AI. I think it's more, you need to be able to wield those tools. The companies and the people that can use those tools to their advantage to win in business, that's the key. I don't think AI is going to take, for us, like for Foundr and the work that we do and the stories that we tell, because at the end of the day, people connect with people, right? People connect with people. And
I love that.
You can probably feed all these interviews and all this stuff into an AI and then, get it to give you answers, right? And, you could do that from taking all these things, but people still want to hear stories. People still want to learn from other people's experiences. So the question you need to ask, and this is the question I'm asking myself when it comes to AI with Foundr, is like, what can we do to use these tools to accelerate our growth and help our community, right? How can we use these tools and share how we're using these tools? And actually, how can we create courses on these tools and how we use these tools? How can we use these tools internally at Foundr to speed up our content production, to create better content, to do more research, to learn for us? So I think that's the key with AI, and that's where I think it's all going. But the reason I tell this story around Bitcoin is everybody always like it's a good story to make people worried, right? It's always a good story, and I'm not saying
Yep.
I'm not saying that it's going to change the landscape because I think it will, but I don't think it will change the landscape at the speed that people are saying, if that makes sense. So.
Yep.
If you are in the business of telling stories or you have a business that is predominantly around information, then you need to be thinking about how you can use these tools to your advantage, but it doesn't mean that your business is going to go out of business anytime soon. You just need to look at how you can utilize these tools to actually get an advantage.
I think that, as you said, AI is a great tool. It's not something that everybody right now they're talking is going to destroy the humanity or is going to destroy the mankind or we're all going to lose our jobs. I totally 100% agree with you that we have to treat it as another tool like a Photoshop, like anything else, but a little bit more intelligent and use it in our advantages and without, without affecting the human to human connection, which is, I had a dear friend, he said that AI is not going to replace when you hold a paintbrush and you start with a stroke on the canvas, AI is not going to be able to do that. And he's absolutely right. A lot of stuff the artificial intelligence cannot replace with a human. But I have one question. This is for me. And because, Nathan, you have been interviewing a lot of people. Compared to you, I'm a rookie. I started a couple of years ago, but so far I've been, kind of very successful. And I am a big, big, big believer to connect with people and learn from them. Because I create this model, they call it CEO, and actually me and Simon, we were back and forth talking. He said, the golden circle, I said, the CEO model, I said, connect, educate, and offer, because I'm a big believer that we have to connect with people first, the way I'm connecting with you. And then I have to learn from you, you learn from me. We all learn from each other. And then our offer would be, can I be your service? Can I, offer my friendship? Can I offer this? The old days, they would reverse that. And then they said, hey, I got this cup. It's better than the next person or the other people. Would you like to buy it? I don't think so. People do that. And I'm sure that I am positive that you are a big fan of connecting with people too, because as I go back to the book and your journey, everything you have done, you connected to the people. My question is, for me, how can I scale the things that I have built, like, talk to Rami and everything else? What advice do you have for me or other people out there that they're going to scale their podcast or anything else and interviewing people, what they have to do? Any advice?
So the question is how to build the growth of your business from interviews and connecting with others.
Because you are the master of that. And then, I started reaching out to the people, and a lot of them, they say yes, they love it, because I believe there is a story behind every person that we all can learn from. It doesn't matter they're famous or not famous, but we all have something to share. And I am the medium of humankind to transfer those stories for the people they can learn from. I'm sure you've been ups and downs. You changed your strategies many times. Oh, guys, team, we should do this, we should do that. I'm just saying, if you have very short, like a thing that you can say, hey, yeah, this is my advice.
Yeah. Look, I want to say something, Rami. Like we've done I've had a great journey with Foundr, but it's, we haven't hit the big time just yet, right? Like there's still a lot of work to be done. Our show and the work that I've done with Foundr is fairly well known, but we haven't hit mass market. So there's still a lot of work to do. So I just want to share my experiences with the stage that I'm at, right? But I wouldn't say I'm a master. Look, I think if you want to build a show around interviews, I think the key part of that, I believe nowadays, and this isn't something that, this is an area of development and something that we're working on for Foundr, is getting really, really good at those short stories and using the platforms to tell those short stories. Like you've got to keep testing and testing and testing finding content that really resonates. And, there's all sorts of systems and processes that people use, like Alex Hormozi talks about, or, we talk about.
Yes.
But the key is, I believe, is the snippets and the short form, and taking that content and spinning it in the best way. So when you do an interview, you need to be able to spin it in the best way. And if you can spin it in the best way that really resonates and hooks people in, then you'll start to build the following. And the more following you build, the more high leverage you have to bring on more well-known guests. And then it's just a repeating cycle. And if you can do that, then that's how you can build a really substantial platform. Now, it takes time and it takes extreme amount of focus. And I think that is key, right? How can you rally your team around following a system to really, really, really get the content that you're producing dialed in and keep getting better and better and better, and finding the hooks, finding the messages, finding the stories that really, really resonate. And I think that's an area of development for us at Foundr, and we need to keep doubling down on. And that's where, from my experience, that's where we're going to focus. But I think using the platforms to tell the story, I think that is key.
And a lot of people, they ask me about the Foundr. Like today, I had a couple of people. I said, I'm interviewing you. How people they can get involved with the Foundr as a community. I'm sure you have a community platform. What is the process of that? These people, they can really come and learn, because it's amazing, online courses or other stuff. What they have to do, what is the process?
Sign up to Foundr Plus. Like that's our membership, and that's where we put in like all of our time, all of our resources. We're producing a lot of different courses to really grow that platform. I think we've got 30, 40 plus courses now with really well-known founders that have proven frameworks on all sorts of different topics, and we're really scaling that up. So that is where we're building a really comprehensive learning platform to help you start or grow your business. And that's where it's at. Like, I highly, highly, highly recommend you sign up to Foundr Plus.
Yeah, because we were discussing that today with the team, and one of my team members said, I should get that. I said, if you want to take that course, you should take it, but you got to tell me when you finished it. We're going to sign him up for that. But, I know you're busy. You got a lot of work to do, but I really appreciate for your time, Nathan. It was an honor, man. I was always fascinated by what you have done, your journey, watch your videos, everything else. As an entrepreneur, man, I salute you. And, you're doing a fantastic job over there. But when you're going to visit Austin, Texas? Now here is the second Silicon Valley. When are you going to come here? I know it's a long way. I have a friend lives in Australia. Actually, he's getting married. And he said, you got to come. I said, okay, I come, But have you ever been in Texas?
No, I haven't actually.
You should come. You should come to Austin. It's beautiful. It's not like Australia. I love Australia. It's so beautiful. But you should come here. You will be our guest. I promise you that. Yeah. And, I'm always looking forward to meet amazing people like you. But if you need anything, this part of the world, we are here to serve you.
Thank you so much, Rami. Really appreciate it, brother. And if you're ever in Melbourne, please do reach out. Happy to catch up for a coffee or a beer.
Absolutely. I will definitely do that. But Nathan, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day, brother. Looking forward to many, many years for founders. I know you guys are going to be up there very soon, and we will be cheering for you from Austin, Texas.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.